Okay, good evening, everybody. Ready to call to order our joint meeting of the City Council, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, Public Finance Authority, Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Paris Joint Powers Authority, and the Paris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris. This Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. The call time is 6:30. Madam Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Here.
Councilmember Rab,
Here.
Councilmember Rogers,
Here.
Councilmember Nava,
Here.
Mayor Vargas.
Here. Thank you. And for those of you who are joining us on Zoom, which we will be having Councilman Rab will be on Zoom this evening. If you'd like to make a comment on the Zoom screen, please click on the participants button on the bottom of your screen. A list of participants will appear at the right side of the screen. At the bottom of this list, please click on the gray raise button. This will signal to the host that you would like to provide public comment, and you'll be added to the list. If you are using Zoom on your smartphone, tap on your screen. A new screen will pop up with the list of participants. Look for the raise hand button on the screen. And for those who are traditionally using a landline, you just simply hit *9 on your keypad to signal that you would like to make a comment. *9 again would remove your request to speak. Okay, moving on. Item 3 is going to be our invocation, which will be led by Pastor Terry Wells from the First Baptist Church of Paris. If you'd all stand and join me. Remain standing for item 4, which will be our Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mayor Pro Tem Corona.
Let us pray. Gracious and most heavenly Father, we come to you right now just invoking special blessings upon the mayor, the council members, and all staff, all police officers, sheriff, just everybody that's a part of this city of Paris. Just bless them in a mighty way. But also bless all those that are watching us online and that are participating, those that are in the audience. Allow everything to be given clearly and communicated clearly, articulated where everybody can get understanding, even if there is no agreement. But allow everything that is passed, that moves forward, allow it be in the welfare for all the residents of Paris and all those that will be going through. We just thank you and just allow your peace and understanding of cooperation to reside in this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Item 5 is a report on closed session items. Mr. Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session to discuss the 4 items noted on the agenda, but no reportable action was taken tonight.
Thank you. Item 6 is presentation and announcements. 6A is a presentation declaring July 2022 Parks and Recreation Month. And this will be introduced by our Director of Community Services, Sabrina Chavez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. This July, we celebrate Parks and Recreation Month and bring attention to how important it is to rise up and support our field. Because every day, our City of Paris Park and Recreation professionals rise up for our community to provide equitable, superior, and quality services. Join us this July as we rise up for Parks and Recreation at upcoming events. In July, we will, our Community Services Department will host an ice cream social at our Senior Center on July 8th, 2022, and at the Statler Youth Center on July 15th. Our department will also be hosting a community barbecue at our scheduled Movies in the Park at Monument Ranch Park on July 22nd at 6 p.m., and the movie to be featured is Encanto. So staff, last year, the City Council proclaimed the third Friday of each month, the third Friday in July as Community Services Professionals Day. A department lunch will be planned to thank our staff for all their efforts and contribution they make throughout the year. I'm so proud of our team. And now we'd like to present a short video produced by the IT staff. Please play the video. IT, may you please play the video? Thank you. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Council, anybody have any comments? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that presentation. Items B and C, these are our presentations for our scholarships. I'm going to merge these together. It's a presentation on the Interwest Community Foundation scholarships. Interwest is our contracted city engineer's office, and also in conjunction with the Motlug Family Scholarship. IT, I believe you guys did receive a slideshow. Okay, so we appreciate the Interwest Foundation for contributing to the scholarship fund for our seniors, as well as the Motlug family. Seniors, they must have, I believe it's a 3.0 or above GPA. They must have a STEAM minded major, thank you, for college. And obviously, they must be accepted into a university as well, and they have to upload these documents showing that they have been accepted. They have to show us their transcripts, and then, of course, they write a letter or an essay on 3 or 4 different subject matters that we give them. And then at the conclusion of that, so me and Councilman or Mayor Pro Tem are kind of charged with that. I took care of the North Side schools, which is Orange Vista High School, and Rancho Verde High School, and then Mayor Pro Tem takes care of our southern end, which is the Paris Union High School districts. This year, there was a couple out of Paris High School and one out of Heritage High School. So the first one we're recognizing is Skyla Gonzalez. She's from Paris High School with a GPA of 4.0. She's chosen and been accepted to UC Riverside. Her major is biochemistry, and she has a desired career in pediatrics. Skylar, are you here this evening? Raise your hand, sweetie. Okay, very good. We'll call you up in a minute. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, next one up is, and by the way, that first one, Skylar, she's receiving $1,000 from Interwest Community Foundation. The second one is Jennifer Salas. She's out of Paris High School as well with a GPA of only 4.3. She will be going to UC Irvine. Her major is in aerospace engineering. Wow. Her desired career is spacecraft and satellite designer and research ways to send people to space and be environmentally conscious. That's very awesome. Congratulations. This is also from the Interwest Community Foundation Scholarship Fund of $1,000. Next slide. Okay, there's another Interwest Community Foundation Scholarship, $4,000. This is going to go to Ann, is it the Okafor? Okafor? She's out of Heritage High School with a GPA of 3.8. She's been accepted to UCLA. Her major is in human biology, and her desired career is a nurse practitioner or pediatrician. I forgot to ask, Jennifer, are you here in the audience as well? Okay, great. Ann Okafor, are you here? Awesome. We're doing good here. Congratulations. Next slide, please. Samuel, you're in the audience? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, there's another Interwest Community Foundation. This one's going to be a split scholarship. This is for $500, and then as well as the Motluk Family Scholarship is pitching in the other $500 for a combined total of $1,000 as well. Samuel's at Rancho Verde High School. His GPA is 3.4. His choice college is Cal Poly Pomona. His major is in biotechnology, and his desired career is to be a pediatrician and study medicine. Congratulations, Samuel. Next slide, please. And our last scholarship is from the Motluk Scholarship Family Scholarship for $1,000. Isabella Perez, are you in the audience? Oh, this is the one I did. She graduated and immediately went on a trip with her sibling to Spain. I tried to go with them, but it didn't work out. So we still want to acknowledge all our winners. Isabella is from Orange Vista High School with another GPA of 4.3. She's going to UCLA. Her major is in biochemistry, and her desired career is in medicine dermatology. So congratulations to Isabella and all our winners. We will now step down. I will call up the recipients one at a time, issue them certificates. Some may have received their awards already. If not, we'll give them tonight, and then we'll take a group picture with the consul. Test. Okay, first winner up, Skyla Gonzalez from Paris High School. Come on up. May it be known that the City of Paris and the Interwest Consulting Group congratulate you on being selected to receive the 2022 Interwest Community Foundation Scholarship for your achievements, hard work, and dedication. Jennifer Salas from Paris High School. Again, this is from the Interwest Community Foundation Scholarship. Congratulations. What happened to that? Okay, Anna Okafor. Am I saying that last name right, Anna? You sure? Anna, again, is from Heritage High School. Congratulations. She just informed us it's Ann, not Anna, so we'll get those corrected. Oh, that's right. You're right. That's fine. All three. All right, go on. Okay, the next one is to Samuel Chamorro Pinal from Rancho Verde High School. Samuel's the one that's getting two separate $500 checks. One's for the mayor, one's for him. Parents, you want to come up, take pictures? Congratulations to all our participants. I also want to acknowledge that Shelby is here from Interwest. We should have had her in the photo. Let's do another one, guys. We got to come up. No, we need to do another one. Shelby, pronounce your last name?
Saraki.
That's why I didn't say it. Sharaki. She is a representative from the Interwest Foundation. Habib, are you here? Come on up. Habib from the Motluck family, come on up. Let's take a group photo. All right, council, anybody want to have any comments? Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay, I want to just congratulate them again to Skylar, Jennifer, Ann, and Samuel on all your accomplishments. You know, with the whole entire senior class, kind of faced a lot of obstacles, and it was the first year where it almost seemed normal. We're still not quite there, but you guys were able to overcome all the obstacles in front of you, and I'm sure that you guys are going to do some great things. But just make sure when you guys do all those great things, you come back to your community. But a real big congratulations to you all. Thank you.
Councilwoman Rogers?
I just want to congratulate all the recipients on a successful senior year and being accepted in the colleges of your choice and picking fields that you can really excel in. And once again, enjoy the journey and have a lot of fun as you succeed. Thank you.
Councilwoman Alva?
Once again, congratulations to all the recipients. I am beyond proud of you all. I'm so impressed with the information you all shared, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to celebrate you all here at the City Hall Chambers. So once again, congratulations, and best of luck to you all on your journey. Thank you.
Councilman Rab?
Yes, as my colleagues have mentioned, congratulate all the awardees. Want to wish you success in all your future endeavors.
Great, thank you. Well, you heard it, folks. Congratulations to all of the awardees, but I also want to give a special thank you, I should say, to Interwest Foundation for their scholarship awards, as well as the Montluck family. Kirby, did you want to come up and say anything? I don't want to put you on the spot. You're good? Okay, so on behalf of Kirby, I'm thanking her and the Interwest Foundation, as well as I know I'm speaking on behalf of the Montluck Family Foundation. If it wasn't for those two entities, this wouldn't even be happening. $1,000 can go a long way when it comes to paying for books, because I've got a kid in college right now, and it costs me an arm and a leg. So, in fact, I've got some World's Finest chocolates. If anybody wants to buy some, I'm doing a fundraiser for. Okay, that being said, we're going to move on to Item 7 with our Youth Advisory Committee communications. This report will be given by Jasmine Lomeli, our Vice President.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council and City staff. Good afternoon. I am honored to be YAC's Vice President, Jasmine Lomeli. Today I will be providing an update on YAC's latest and upcoming events. On Saturday 11th, YAC participated at the Rod and Rails extravaganza. YAC participated by assisting the game booth as well as the potato scavenger hunt. Also, we helped during the breakdown and cleanup of the event. This event is always a great time, and we look forward to next year's Rod and Rails extravaganza. Moving forward to Friday, June 17th, YAC will have our end of the year dinner celebration. This is where we gather our families to recap the year. As a reminder, we are still accepting applications for the 2022 to 2023 YAC year. Last day to submit applications is July 29th. Apart from this, YAC will be participating in the Youth Summer Concert on Saturday, June 18th. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. and the show starts at 6. We will be hosting a concession stand. Stop by the Bob Glass Gym and enjoy a night of local music. Tickets are only $5. YAC would like to remind everyone that the month of June is Pride Month. Did you know that the Stonewall riots took place in 1969? This is one of the first important movements for the gay community in the United States. It is important to treat everyone with respect and kindness. Finally, YAC would like to remind everyone to please follow us on social media at Paris YAC for more updates and upcoming events. For more important information on YAC or any events discussed today, feel free to dial the Statler Youth Center at 951-435-7230, extension 400. YAC would like to remind everyone to remain safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 8 is our public comments. This is a time when any member of the public may bring a matter to attention of the mayor of the city council within our jurisdiction of the city. Each public comment would be limited to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Kevin Wolf.
Good evening. Kevin Wolf here tonight on the behalf of Green America. Dr. Jones, one of our partners, is in transition to Chief of Redlands Hospital, so he sends his apologies for not being here tonight, but we have his full support tonight. In the audience is Rami Tahan, our other partner. We're here, and I do appreciate Mayor and council members the opportunity to address you tonight. As you know, Green America was the first licensed cannabis dispensary in the city and has set pace for the region and in the cannabis industry. We became involved in Green America in 2018 and of that, and after becoming part of the organization have been dealing with some challenges with that company and some of its prior operations. We have been working diligently with staff on a relocation effort. As you recall, in end of 2020, you were good enough to pass a resolution to allow for the relocation of this business in particular. Shortly thereafter, we acquired some property and have since then started the process to relocate that business. Through the resolution, it's pretty narrowly worded and it's come to staff's attention and ours that it needs to be broadened some to allow us to complete that transition. We have been operating under a medicinal license, and as the ordinances and rules are written in Paris, leave some interpretation as to some particular documents and in order of submissions on those that have caused some processing issues as well. So we would request your consideration to complete the move of Green America or allow us to take the opportunity to initiate a new license at the property that we have secured and have been working on for the past year. Again, it's some extraordinary circumstances have gotten us to this point. It's a very challenging business, as we all know. Typically, we would be here years ago, road and bridge benefit districts, complicated projects, infrastructure, power plants. So, you know, as a family, we're here, we're invested in this community. We like solving complicated problems. I would say of the projects we've worked on and industries we've worked on, this has been extraordinary as far as complications. And you've got, you know, the melding of different types of personalities, people, business. For us as a family, our goal is to get to the pharmaceutical phase of this business. As adoption occurs, this is really the first gawky stage of the introduction of cannabis and its derivatives as it goes forward into making pharmaceuticals. The property we do have secured and that we've been working on for the past year is a campus.
Your time's up, Kev.
Okay. So we appreciate your consideration and we'd appreciate the opportunity to direct staff to help us with the relocation or the initiation of a new license.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, Madam Clerk?
Sarah Hardy.
Hello, my name is Sarah Hardy. I'm the Division Manager of Visitor Experience with the Southern California Railway Museum. I know that my colleague Bill is really active at these meetings, and I hope to help support him in keeping you all up to date on what's going on at the museum. I don't know if he's told you, but we are expecting a really large donation of BNSF 5704 locomotive. A little bit of history. In 1976, BNSF painted 5 of its locomotives a red, white, and blue paint scheme in honor of the United States' 200th birthday. After the bicentennial celebration kind of ended, these locomotives were repainted their original blue and yellow. Today, 3 of these locomotives were rebuilt and retired. 1 is still in service, and the last one, the 5704, was retired in 2008 and going to be scrapped in 2020. Their economic development manager of BNSF, he thought that this was not right, so he formed a team to decide to donate this locomotive. They researched railway museums and picked the Southern California Railway Museum as its new home. Once that was picked, they contacted Mid-America Car to do the painting, and Sherwin Williams, who expertly matched the paint colors. All of this effort was donated. Today in Kansas City, Missouri, the locomotive is meticulously and accurately restored cosmetically, and it's starting to make its way to Paris. We expect it to arrive sometime this summer, and we'll definitely keep you updated on when that is. Once it comes here, the work is definitely not done. Our team is preparing to receive the locomotive and continue the restoration work. It needs to be completely rebuilt and refurbished on the inside. The goal is for this locomotive to be operational for weekend services and special events. So we're really excited to get it and finish the work. And I wanted to introduce myself to you all also. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sarah. Anybody else?
That is all.
Anybody else in the audience at this time wishing to speak on something? IT, do we have anybody online?
Yes, sir. We have an Alejandro Hayden. Mr. Hayden, you have the floor, sir.
Hey, I just want to say I'm just so frustrated. I recently was a victim of an online casting call scam where I was thought to believe that I was going to be on a reality TV show. And the reason why it's important is because this whole entire state has an industry built on the entertainment business. And so it's very easy for people like myself to fall victim to this sort of scam. I sent this person pictures of my feet. I sent them pictures of my genitalia. I sent them pictures of me doing weird stuff with food. The role was supposed to be like an American Pie spin-off commercial. I did stuff to a pie that I really regret. It was a very hot pie. I have third-degree burns. And I'm not proud of what I did. I'm incredibly embarrassed, and I'm just frustrated. With these inflation, with everything that's going on, these gas prices, I'm out here doing whatever I can to make it. And I have guys on the internet that are making me stick my genitals into a hot pie, and they are scamming me in order to get some sort of satisfaction sexually. And we live in a world where this is not okay. I need your help bringing aware more people. I mean, I'm sticking my genitals in the pie because some guy told me that I'm going to get...
Mr. Alejandro, you're done. We're going to cut you off. You're pranking the city, and it's not appropriate for you to make these comments in this forum. Goodbye.
Good. Okay, is there anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. There's a Jeff Reeves.
Repeat the name.
A Jeff Reeves. Mr. Reeves, you have the floor.
Jeff Reeves, go ahead. You got 3 minutes.
Hello, can you hear me? This is Jeff Reeves.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I represent Mike Schenker. He is the owner of the building on Harley Knox Road that Green America operates out of. I just wanted to address some of Kevin Wolf's comments, if I may.
Go ahead. You got 3 minutes.
I just wanted the record to be clear that Green America is currently operating without any business license at all at that property. They have no business license. They've got no valid cannabis permit. Mr. Wolf said they're selling under a medicinal use permit. That's false. They're selling adult use. They're not selling for medical use. So they're flagrantly in violation of the city's ordinances. And there is a cease and desist letter dated April 21, 2022 from city's council, Eric Dunn, specifically ordering Green America to cease and desist. They were supposed to stop operating as of April 21. And to this day, they continue to operate unlawfully and in flagrant violation of the city's own orders. So I don't know anything about a relocation effort. I don't know why a relocation effort would be approved of a business that is in such flagrant violation of the city's ordinances and the cease and desist. But I do know no permit should be issued for them to sell adult use out of my client's property on Harley Knox Road. He does not consent. And the owner's consent is a prerequisite to getting a license. Just wanted to make sure that was clear for the record. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else, IT?
No, sir, that is all.
All right. Moving on to item 9, which are approval of minutes. 9A is consideration to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 31st, 2022 of the City Council, Successor Agency to Redevelopment Agencies, and all the others as listed on our agenda. If council doesn't have any comments or questions. Councilwoman Nava? You guys already motioned it. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
All right. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is our consent calendar. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or city council may remove a consent calendar item for separate action. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
The staff would like to add an item, an urgency item to the consent calendar.
Okay?
It came up to add an urgency item, there needs to be a vote of the 2/3 of the city council finding that the item came up after the agenda was posted and that action is needed before the next agenda. We've been working with IDI on rail agreements with the Southern California Regional Rail Authority, and we've exchanged comments, but the Rail Authority informed us that their timeline is very short. And so with our summer break, the city needs to review and approve these agreements before the next council meeting in July. So if you could add, if we are asking that you add this item as item O to the consent calendar, but if you wish, when you do these things, you could pull it, and Mr. McKibben will explain further.
That's fine.
So there needs to be a motion and a vote of at least 4 people, 4 council members, adding the item.
Just to add it.
Just adding it, not approving it.
Okay.
Just adding it.
All right, so.
I'll make the motion to add that item to O.
Thank you. Want to have a second?
I'd second it.
Thank you. All right, call the vote on that.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Are we just voting for that one item?
Just to put it on the agenda.
Oh, yes.
Not voting to approve it, just
Just
to
put it on
add
the
it.
agenda.
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Okay, and we're going to keep that one separate, just to make just for.
If you wish.
Yeah, I will keep that one separate. Does anybody else want to pull anything?
Yes. Items 10I and 10N as in Nancy.
And I as in Ida?
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, not hearing anything else, I will entertain a motion to approve everything.
And I interrupted you, Mayor, before you called for public comment. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Madam Clerk, did you have any, I think you said no.
No.
All right, IT?
No, sir.
All right, I'm looking for approval on everything except for I, O,
And N.
And
and N as in Nancy. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call a roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes,
5-0, motion approved.
thank you. Okay, we'll go in order, so item I, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. You know what? For the current meeting, I'm in support of this, but I would like to maybe get a survey later on of how many cities have are still doing virtual, and then how many are not. In my role as for the RTA, we did vote that we're going to do in person now. I know we've been doing this for a long time, but I think we should start thinking about a certain date that where we are going to be expected to come back and have our meetings in person. Now, I'm not saying if someone's ill or someone's traveling or going, just out of town for that meeting, they could still, do a virtual meeting, but they just have to post where they're meeting from, like the way it was pre-pandemic. But I am in support of this currently right now. But I do want to direct, maybe start the conversation about whether there's a sunset to this item. That's all for me.
Well, if I may chime in, there is a sunset, and that's January 2024, or possibly even when this pandemic the emergency is lifted. And that I understand where you're coming from, and I sit in a lot of commissions as well, committees, and we are in full back, all in person, but we're still keeping this open for those members who are sick, or have a medical issue. It just makes it more simpler and more easier. I'm just throwing that out there. But it will sunset in 2024, January. I don't know what's going to happen after that. They're going to revise it or not, but it's still fair enough to have staff look into see what other cities are doing as you're requesting.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like 2024 is way out there. I mean, I'm not comfortable with continuing to vote on this, but I mean, for today, I will.
Sounds good. All right. So I need a motion on I, please.
Motion for approval.
I have a motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Councilwoman Rogers. Please call roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, item N, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if the applicant is here by any chance, just to kind of ask some questions.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Yes, we have Ms. Jessica Bruce of CityNet on the Zoom with us.
Okay, great. Okay. Hi, Ms. Bruce. Wherever you'll see.
You're still muted.
Okay. I get it.
There you go.
There we go. Hi, good evening, Mayor
Okay.
and members of the council.
Good evening.
Hi. Just a few questions. I did read the application. It was very thorough. Everything was great. But I did have a couple questions. I know you're based in Long Beach. So my question would be, how would you provide service, in the city of Paris that's specific to our Paris homeless population?
Yes, so we are established in Long Beach. Our main office headquarters are in Anaheim, but we are also in the county of Riverside. We have been serving the county of Riverside in multiple cities since 2018. We have an office space in the city of Riverside, and when we add contracts to our organization, then we'll create an office space that is located in that city. Because we are an outreach organization, having a home, brick and mortar is not really important because our services are all brought to the clientele on the streets and meeting them where they're at. So when we pick up a contract in a new region, we always establish a home base to have an office space for our staff to go to start the day, do paperwork, and then go out in the field. But really, as an outreach organization, you want the majority of our times to be spent on the street serving the clients that are experiencing street-level homelessness.
Okay. So with the cities in Riverside County, I believe there was 9 cities that you contract with?
Yes.
Okay. How about the nearest ones to Paris? Which are some of the nearest ones?
We are in Murrieta, San Jacinto, Hemet, Corona, Norco, the city of Riverside.
Okay, thank you.
And then we have county contracts also that oversee all of the whole region.
Okay. And then just for clarification, say you come into contact with a homeless person that's been homeless for about 4 years, and they're very comfortable. How would you proceed to eventually get them off the streets?
So street outreach, there's no timeline on how we're working with the client. We're, building the rapport and getting the client to trust our case managers to work with them on a long-term housing plan. Our goal when we first meet a client is housing, be it short-term housing and shelter, but getting them off the streets is our main objective. So within our outreach programs, we work with them, we get them connected to the county's continuum of care, to be connected to coordinated entry system, to be eventually matched to a long-term housing opportunity. So it's relationship building. We've had cases where we meet someone that day, get them into shelter, get them into the coordinated entry system, and within 6 months they're in housing. Or we have clientele that, your harder cases, that the higher hanging fruit, we call it, that we have to really work with and really just continue to engage them. Your police department is going to tell us about your top 10 individuals that they are constantly getting calls for service. We're going to focus on those individuals, and we're really going to be consistent in our services. And that's why, having a 5-day-a-week contract is so important to us, because consistency in homeless services is imperative. Today's no, maybe tomorrow's yes. So every day we need to be out there engaging individuals, offering them services, getting them connected to the system of care so that they know where the opportunities are at. So when that yes is, that they're ready to say yes, we're there to be able to say, okay, get in the van, let's go and make this happen.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll motion to approve.
I'd second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Councilman Rab. Please call roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers, Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, item O. I'm sorry, Mr. Dunn, who's going to present this?
I think Mr. McKibben can give the details on what the schedule is and what the item is.
Okay.
This council, way back last year, approved a design agreement with SCRRA to design the crossings over the railroad at Ellis and at Mapes. And then we had a reimbursement agreement with the IDI to pay the city back for money we had to give to the SCRRA. This is exactly similar, except it's for the design and construction phase for the same two crossings. In this case, it's it's a large payment that needs to be made to the SCRA for construction, about $6 million. And so the first agreement, is it says in the staff report, it covers the plans, the specs, and who's going to do what work, and also covers the payment. And then the accompanying item to this is the reimbursement agreement with IDI to pay the city $6 million 30 days after the execution of the agreement by the council and all parties. So it's to continue on for the rail service, really, for the IDI Paris Logistics Center off of Ellis.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open public comments since this is a new item. If there's any members of the public wishing to request any questions on this item. I don't see anybody in the audience. IT, is anybody up there?
No, sir.
All right. If there's no further questions from council, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Oh, Councilwoman Rogers?
Just one question. That's a large amount, $6 million that the city has to put up front. From where would those funds be coming from?
The way it probably would happen is that the IDI would pay the city long before we had to give the money to the SCRRA.
So they would not be coming out of our general funds?
I don't think so.
All right, so there would be a MOU with IDI?
That's part of this package.
Okay, so basically, in concept, we're approving the transfer of funds if IDI did not pay the $6 million up front?
We can back out of the agreement.
Okay.
And it's that the SCRRA will not do agreements with developers. They must do it with the public
With the city.
entity. So we have to do a sort of two agreements, one with IDI and one with SCRRA. But IDI is going to pay all the costs.
That's right,
Okay.
and perform the work.
Okay. I kind of questioned when you said the reimbursement, because that's a lot of money to upfront.
Yes.
City Manager, do you have a comment?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, we would set up a trust account where the funds would be deposited early on in the process and distribute payments from there.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Nava.
Thank you, Mayor. My questions were very similar. I just wanted to make sure that the city of Paris wasn't fronting any of this money. And then, and just another question, why did this item come before us so late?
We were just told on Friday that we told them that we couldn't get this agreement on until July 26th, and they told us on Friday that, no, we have to have this by June 24th to make it onto the SCRRA agenda. And then they don't meet in the next month after July, which is August, so it wouldn't be until September until they can get all this worked out with SCRRA, and that's going to get started on their construction contract or anything, which would ultimately affect the time schedule for the IDI project.
Okay, and when you're referring to they, you're referring to?
The IDI and their engineers.
Okay, so it was, okay, that answered my question. Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve. Motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call a roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas,
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 11 is our public hearings. 11A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving the annual engineer's report for Maintenance District number 84-1, MD 84-1, and confirming the assessments for fiscal year 2022-2023. And this will be introduced by our city engineer, Stuart McKibben.
Good evening, Mayor and honorable council members. I didn't say good evening earlier, and I'm here to introduce Daniel Louie, who's from Wildan Financial, and he'll be making this staff report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Tonight's proceedings are being held to obtain approval for the levy of the fiscal year 2022-23 assessments for the city's Streetlight Maintenance District MD 84-1 and to collect assessments on the property tax bill. Maintenance District 84-1 provides funding for the electricity and maintenance of streetlights and traffic signals. This year's funding provides for approximately 4,450 streetlights and 71 traffic signals. No increase is recommended for the current assessment of $46.28 per benefit unit. The proposed assessments total approximately $949,000. The assessment does not exceed the maximum authorized rates approved by property owners at the time of formation or annexation. The next action is for the public hearing to be opened for public comment. After the close of public hearing, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt the resolutions giving final approval to the engineer's report and authorization to collect the assessments on the tax roll. Unless there are any further questions, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Louie. Council, anybody have any quick comments or questions before I open up public hearing? All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience at this time wish to speak on this particular item? All right, seeing none, we're going to close the public comment or close the public hearing. And if council, you don't have no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve, or excuse me, a motion on the resolution.
Motion for approval.
I've got Rogers to move, and Rab, do you want a second?
Yes.
And Councilman Rab will second. Call roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas,
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving the placement of CR&R solid waste delinquent balances on the Riverside County tax roll. Is This will be introduced by our Deputy City Manager, Mr. Ernie Reyna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. For this particular item, I'm going to have Alex Brekovich of CR&R make this presentation, so I'm going to turn it over to him now. Alex?
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Alex Brekovich, representing CR&R tonight. As you may recall, early last year, EMWD contacted CR&R and the City of Paris requesting to eliminate their billing services that they had provided the Paris residents for many years. As a result, we began a long and extensive process of converting Paris residents from EMWD and city billing to CR&R direct billing. After much behind-the-scenes work from EMWD, the city, and CR&R, we began direct billing our Paris residential customers on August 1 of 2021. Our billing transition went relatively smooth. There were very few hiccups here and there, but considering the magnitude of the change, we think it went very well. As part of our direct billing service, we also bring forward on an annual basis a list of delinquent accounts. These accounts have balances that are past 60 days past due. Tonight is our first such delinquency tax roll hearing. This year's delinquencies are for the time period of August 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022. As of this morning, we have 2,095 delinquent accounts in the City of Paris. This is out of a total of over 16,000 accounts that we bill. These numbers are in line with other jurisdictions that we service. The final number of delinquencies will be submitted to the county on July 8th, 2022. Customers can pay on their delinquencies before that date, so we expect the total number of delinquencies to go down by that date. That concludes my remarks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Brekovich. Council, before I open up the public hearing, anybody have any comments or questions real quick? Councilwoman Rogers?
Yes, just one quick question. Have the customers been notified that they're subject to having it placed on the tax roll?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've been notifying throughout the entire billing process.
All right. And have many people responded to the
Yes.
notices? So some people are catching it up?
Absolutely.
Is there a final date for them to have made the payment where it's not placed on the tax roll?
Yes, that's July 8th of 2022.
And that verbiage is in the letters that you're sending out?
Yes.
Okay.
And both in English and in Spanish as well.
All right. Thank you.
Don't go away yet, Alex, just in case. Councilwoman Nava?
Thank you. In line with those questions, are there any specific color used for these bills? Because I know some other billing systems typically use yellow or red when, a consumer falls behind. Is that the same type of process or implementation that's being used, or is it just white paper?
I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure. I can
Okay.
find out for sure, but I think it's the same color paper, but I can find that out for you.
Just wanted to make that a note, just because I know that's certainly raising some concerns when you have a special colored bill
Yeah.
coming your way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will ask that question.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, for follow-up to Councilwoman Rogers' question, for the letters that were sent, were they sent to the customers or were they sent to the property owners?
Both.
To both. Okay, so we were able to communicate whether somebody is renting a home?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
We get the data from the county.
Okay, thank you.
That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do you have a request to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, yes, sir. We have an Elizabeth Ayala. Miss Ayala, you have the floor.
I think he runs the meeting for me.
Yes, hi, my name is Elizabeth Ayala. In regards to the CR&R, I feel that whatever billing issues they're having shouldn't be placed into the county taxes, because once again, the city is not a collection agency for them. I believe that they should follow any other company collections, as far as, you know, the water bill, the light bill, the gas bill. None of those goes into the county property taxes. They just get their services cut off or shut down or whatever. I think those are steps that CR&R needs to do. Instead, I'm finding that the city is constantly trying to put these monies into the county taxes, into their taxes of their home. And I feel it's wrong. And then also when we're voting on issues like this, and if, for example, CR&R contribute to your campaign, I feel that you should stand out from voting on any issues because of conflict of interest. So that is my input. I hope that you guys don't approve this. I personally have been paying my bills on time, but I feel for the people who haven't, I don't think that it's right for you guys to approve it to be on someone's property taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, IT?
Yes, sir. We have an Adrian Jaquez. Mr. Jaquez, you have the floor. Or Miss.
Hi, my name's Adrian Jaquez. I have an issue with CR&R. It's more with their performance. We pay them on time. We pay them every month, and I'd expect the same performance from CR&R. But every week, I don't get my green bin picked up. Sometimes I don't get my gray recycle bin picked up. So if they want their bill paid on time, can you please pick up the bins on time? That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Jaquez. Anybody else?
We have a Luz Mata. Luz, you have the you have the floor.
Yeah, hi. Same thing. I believe CR&R, their quality service, it should be on point. Not collecting the bins on time. They're expecting their customers to be on time. The same thing, we're expecting them to pick up, the trash. Not only that, doing the sweeping. But I live in the Stone Creek area. We have voiced our concerns through our HOA, and they bring the same thing. They don't know anything about the sweeping, the streets. We haven't had that service since the opening of the community. So I believe they shouldn't be adding anything to our property tax at all. And that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else, IT?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing, and if there's any questions or comments from council, I'll ask for a motion. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Call roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas,
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 11C is consideration to introduce the first reading of proposed ordinance number next in order approving ordinance amendment 22-05069, removing Paris Municipal Code 10.42.030 and 10.42.040, and making consistent changes to the Paris Municipal Code 10.42.020 related to permits for trucks, truck trailers, and certain commercial vehicles parking on the streets, alleys, and residential areas, and amending Paris Municipal Code Chapter 10.40 and the circulation element text and map related to truck routes in South Paris to be consistent with policies directing truck routes away from residential areas along Ethenac Road and Getz Road, and adopt the proposed resolution number next in order to adopt mitigated negative declaration 2372 and approving general plan amendment 22-05068.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
As you know, we have received a number of letters over the past couple of weeks on this item. Late this afternoon, we received another letter on behalf of Panatone Development Company. It's a 5-page letter with a lot of attachments, so we recommend that prior to getting the staff report and opening the public hearing, you take a 10 to 15-minute recess to make sure that you read the letter that was actually distributed to you prior to the meeting. And then staff has also received this letter, and staff will respond during the presentation.
All right, very good. We will take a 15-minute recess.
Thank you. I'll give that to City Clerk.
Now they're mixing it up with
Yeah, it's gonna have to get right on it. That's the issue. Okay,
Okay, we're ready to get back. Madam Clerk, before we continue on, I want to just clarify if we have received anything else.
No, we have not.
Okay. Okay, so this item is going to be introduced by our Director of Development Services, Mr. Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. This item will be presented by our Senior Planner, Nathan Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the City Council for having me here tonight. As Kenneth mentioned, we're here to consider the South Paris Truck Route Amendments, which was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission on June 1st. During the meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed 2 additional opposition letters received the evening before the Planning Commission hearing from the City of Menifee and also from Rutan and Tucker on behalf of the Panettone, along with city-written responses addressing these 2 letters. Also, the Planning Commission considered public comment from the Center of Community Action and Environmental Alliance, and they also received 18 emails from Paris residents in support of the removal of Ethenac Road as a truck route. After review and consideration, they recommended approval for the following reasons. They mentioned that the removal of Ethenac Road would protect Paris residents from poor air quality, noise, and traffic. The second reason, Menifee has options to reroute truck traffic to the I-215 freeway through Barnett Avenue instead of Ethenac Road. Number 3, commissioners further noted that the north side of Ethenac Road has been zoned residential since 1990, or even before that, when the Green Valley Specific Plan was adopted. And then lastly, the Planning Commission noted that the City of Menifee Good Neighbor policies include provisions to protect sensitive receptors, promote public health, and protect the neighborhood character of adjacent communities. However, the Commission noted that the planned industrial development south of Ethenac Road within the City of Menifee does not adhere to the City of Menifee's Good Neighbor policies. Just stepping back a little bit, some background information. In 1972, the City Council adopted Chapter 10.40, which is to establish truck routes within the City of Paris. And the purpose was to pretty much protect commercial areas and also residential areas from truck traffic. During that time, Paris was mostly undeveloped. It was kind of like a rural agricultural community. Compared to what we see today, Paris is more developed, more urbanized. Since then, the city has strategically been conditioning industrial projects away from residential and commercial areas since 2010 as an informal policy. Also, early this year, the city updated its truck routes in the north part of Paris to pretty much remove Paris Boulevard and also Ramona Expressway as a designated truck route. So to further ensure that truck traffic continues to be routed away from commercial areas and also residential areas, staff proposes the following changes to Evans Road, Case Road, Getz Road, and Ethenac Road. And the next couple of slides, we'll go through each of the 4 truck routes in detail and explain why we're updating these truck routes. So the first truck route that we will discuss is Evans Road, located between Nuevo Road and Orange Avenue. Staff recommends removing this segment since it's not a functional truck route. It doesn't go anywhere. And it's surrounded by residential neighborhoods and also a high school, with no industrial zone property within 4 miles in this stretch of Evans Road. The second amendment is Case Road, which includes removing Case Road from G Street to Paris Boulevard, which is shown in the green box, which is not a functional truck route since Paris Boulevard is no longer a truck route. The second component to Case Road is to add a designated truck route from G Street all the way down to the I-215 freeway, which is shown in the yellow dashed line, which is in harmony with the South Paris Industrial Project, which was approved in 2010. The South Paris Industrial Project consisted of roughly around 7 million square feet of industrial within 3 project areas, which is shown. Those 3 project areas are located in the orange areas, as shown on the exhibit, which are in Getz Road, Mapes Road, Getz Road at Mountain Avenue, Ellis Avenue at Redlands Avenue. The South Paris Industrial was conditioned to route truck traffic north of Getz Road to Case Road to the I-215 freeway. And overall, by adding this route, it would pretty much solidify the South Paris Industrial's conditions to pretty much reroute truck traffic away from South Paris and also the Paris downtown area. Next, we have Getz Road, and this update includes the removal of 2 sections of Getz Road as a truck route, which includes the removal of the southerly Getz Road segment, which is shown on the bottom green rectangle, from San Jacinto River to Ethenac Road. And the reason why we're doing this is there is no industrial zone properties within the city of Paris and South Paris. We also removing northerly Getz Road segment from Case Road to Ellis Avenue, which would direct truck traffic away from residential areas such as the Paris downtown area and also South Paris, and rerouting truck traffic to Case Road all the way down to the I-215 freeway. And the last proposal is Ethenac Road. The update includes removal of Ethenac Road from the westerly city limits all the way down to Barnett Road. The removal of this segment as a truck route is consistent with the city's policy of conditioning industrial projects to direct all truck traffic north along Getz Road, east along Ellis Avenue down to Case Road to the I-215 freeway. Also, please note that a portion of the truck route will remain from Barnett Road to the easterly city limits, and this is to pretty much allow a potential truck route connection for the city of Menifee, and also allow access to an existing truck fueling station in Paris, which is located off of Barnett Road. Overall, these changes will promote the city's informal policy to pretty much redirect truck traffic around from commercial areas and residential areas and redirect them into these new truck routes. So here's a regional map of what's happening in Menifee, south of Paris, which depicts alternate routes that the city of Menifee can use for truck access within the city. And I'll just leave it up there for a couple more seconds. To complement all proposed changes, an ordinance amendment is also included to remove Paris Municipal Code 10.42.030 related to residential truck permits in residential and commercial areas. And since the adoption in 1972, the city has no records of any issued permit to pretty much park truck traffic in residential areas. So by deleting this code section, it would pretty much prohibit truck parking within residential areas and also pretty much eliminate truck traffic to and from residential areas also. Objection letters. The city received an additional 3 objection letters prior to the city council meeting. The first letter was from Compass Danby Real Estate Partners, also known as CDRE Holdings. The second letter was Rutan and Tucker on behalf of the city of Menifee. And the last one is Hans LLC. The opposition letter by CDRE Holdings is essentially the same letter that was submitted as part of the June 1st Planning Commission staff report package. So essentially the only thing they did was address it to the council. The second letter, Rutan and Tucker, on behalf of the City of Menifee is a combination of comments submitted to the City of Menifee and another letter prepared by Rutan and Tucker in behalf of Panettone Development that was submitted as part of the staff report package also to the Planning Commission. However, the only difference is it's addressed to the council. And then the last letter, which is Haas Development, expressed the potential loss of land value of their property with the removal of Ethenac Road as a truck route. Overall, all the letters pretty much express opposition in removing Ethenac Road as a truck route. So staff has reviewed these letters with the city's environmental consultant, Michael Brown, and legal counsel, and determined that the letters do not change staff's conclusion that a negative declaration has been appropriately prepared and does not warrant any type of recirculation. Also, staff would like to let the council know that we received an additional 8 emails in support of this project since the Planning Commission hearing. And it's a total of 32 correspondences in support of this ordinance amendment. And some of the residents' concerns are based on leaving Ethenac Road as a truck route. It would create safety hazards, lower quality of life, increase of poor air quality, truck traffic, pollution, damaged roads, noise and vibrations along the corridor. So overall, based on these additional past responses, there's pretty much strong community support for this amendment. Also, before I conclude, we received a letter of opposition, as Mr. Dunn mentioned, from Rutan and Tucker dated June 14, which is today. We received it at 3:45 today. City staff and the city's environmental consultant and legal counsel reviewed the letter and determined that the letter does not add any new information that was not considered in the negative declaration that would change the conclusion and that warrants recirculation of the negative declaration. So if the council has any questions concerning the environmental process, we have Mr. Michael Brown here to answer any questions that you might have. So with that, staff's recommendation and also Planning Commission recommendation is for the council to adopt resolution number next in order to adopt negative declaration 2372, approve general plan amendment 22-05068, and introduce the first reading of ordinance number next in order to approve ordinance amendment 22-05069. I'm here to answer any questions. Also, the city engineer is here to answer any questions you might have. And we also have our environmental consultant to answer any questions you might have for him.
Thank you, Nathan. Council, before I hear from your comments, I'm going to open up the public hearing first, and then we can have our discussion. Madam Clerk, are there requests to speak from the public?
Yes, sir. Robert Owen.
Good evening. My name is Robert Owen. I'm with the law firm of Rutan and Tucker, who is city attorney for the city of Menifee. I submitted the letter that you received on behalf of the city of Menifee. I'm not going to go through that, but I do want to emphasize a few points that are important to Menifee. The first, Menifee is very concerned about the complete lack of prior notice and collaboration by Paris regarding the truck route alterations. Menifee and Paris staff had collaborated for 6 months regarding development proposals in North Menifee and truck route and access options on Ethenac. Now, this current proposal was obviously in the works for a long time, yet no one thought to, at least tell Menifee that it's going on. Menifee didn't even find out about it till it received the mailed notice of the Planning Commission public hearing. We would appreciate the heads up. We're easy to find, right next door. So we're a little puzzled by this. And from this, we can't help but conclude that the primary motivation behind this project is to interfere with the proposed development projects in Menifee by attempting to cut off truck access to the property south of Ethenac. Now, additionally, the initial study and negative declaration are faulty for numerous reasons, and a major reason is that it completely fails to analyze or basically even mention any of the significant impacts the project will have in nearby Menifee, including air quality, traffic, noise, cumulative impacts caused by the disruption in established truck route traffics. Earlier today in staff's presentation, they mentioned alternate routes. Well, that's not discussed, the impacts of those, anywhere in the environmental documents. You know, the impacts don't stop at the Ethenac border. The initial study also concludes no significant impact for each of the environmental categories, yet cites no studies on which to base these conclusions, particularly no traffic study, no air quality study. It's just a conclusion in a vacuum. Now, the proposed rerouting would also be inconsistent with the City of Paris's general plan, which designates Ethenac's future condition as a 180-foot wide expressway consisting of 6 lanes and presumably truck traffic. It defies logic that such a huge expressway would be limited to vehicles with weights of less than 5 tons. Now, aside from the numerous inadequacies of the environmental review.
Mr. Owen, your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Next.
Abdul Ghaznabi.
Honorable members, I'm here because I bought a house in almost 9 years ago in southern Paris, and you're distracting is air pollution and noise pollution, and will cause a lot of people health hazard, you know. Property value will go down if this happens. I moved from Hollywood. I moved because it was warmer and quieter. So I don't want you guys to build this all this SUVs or whatever, 16-wheelers. It's just damaging our roads and community that I live. My neighbors, they could not come because they go to work. They come from work at 6 or 7. They wanted to come. They said, "You're free, you go." So I came here on behalf of my community and my neighbors. So I wish all the members should stop this, not letting all those big trucks moving into our neighbors or driving through our neighbors. And I moved from Hollywood to this place because I find it quieter and warmer. Now, you know, I worked in Hollywood. I still work in Hollywood whenever I get a job. So I just moved here. I want you to decide not to do this to our neighbors. That will be all.
Thank you.
Bill Blankenship.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and staff. My name is Bill Blankenship, representing NAIOP Inland Empire Chapter. NAIOP Inland Empire Chapter is the Commercial Industrial Association representing over 300 member companies that do business throughout the Inland Empire, focused in Riverside County and throughout this region. Tonight, we're here to thank the City of Paris for the great partnership that the industry has enjoyed in the past. However, tonight we want to make it very clear that we have strong opposition and objection to the proposed elimination of the Ethenac Road corridor, truck route corridor. In addition to that, we would like to make sure that the city accounts for the impacts of the elimination or the potential elimination of the Ethenac corridor
And what comes to our mind is that throughout this process, the applicants who are building and who will be building projects in the city of Menifee are also your business partners in the city of Paris. And we're, by the potential closure of Ethenac Road, would be leaving them stranded without probably a viable alternative. And we're simply asking that the two city staffs come together with the applicants and find a solution that will work. The council will meet again in the end of July, July 26th, and we're asking that you ask your staff to work with your neighbor, the city of Menifee, and the applicants to see if a solution can come up with that's viable for your business partners in your city, as well as the business partners in Menifee who are doing business in both cities. So we're respectfully asking if we could do that this evening, if we could give additional time. I think it's imperative that the council request their staff to work in earnest, not only with the applicants who will be impacted, but the neighboring city. And NAOP pledges to work and bring everybody together and be at that table. So once again, we're opposed to the elimination of Ethenac Road corridor, and we're hopeful that we can find a solution that will accommodate those applicants. And then ultimately, if it does make sense to close Ethenac, then that can be done. But I think in the meantime, we need to find a viable solution that will work for those folks. And on behalf of NAOP Inland Empire Chapter, I appreciate the opportunity of coming before you, and again, respectfully ask that you consider our position. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Jason Baez.
Honorable Council, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jason Baez, and I'm a member of Labor's International Union of North America, and we oppose the elimination of the Ethenac corridor. We have about 10 projects in the queue that will be severely affected by this quick decision. Hundreds of millions of dollars that will be donated to the city in various ways through these projects could be lost. At least $1 billion that will be infused into our local economies could be lost. At least 1,000 to 1,500 local craftsmen, if not more, will lose the opportunity to finally work closer to home and rebond with their families. These honorable men and women need to accumulate at least 300 hours per quarter to keep their health benefits active, some of which need those benefits for medications that are vital to someone in their household. Many young residents who are scheduled and going to receive an apprenticeship program acceptance through these projects could be lost, their opportunities. And when these projects are completed, they will be job centers of all different types with different hours, different schedules, internship, program collaborations, and opportunities that will expand in many different directions. Each establishing balance in the community and progressing us forward at a more rapid pace for a better tomorrow here and in the surrounding cities. As each of these projects will be springs of opportunity and year-round revenue that will be circulated into local economy and consistently stacking in city coffers for basic necessities such as utility rehabilitation, infrastructure, public servant expansion, and community programs. We could probably keep going with this, but the bottom line is that this will have a domino effect if this is shut down. The losses could be grand. Honorable Council, we would like to ask with the utmost respect to each of you to please critique this situation with temperance. Solutions to these issues can quite possibly be found, and we would be so very grateful for your patience and diligence to this situation. And lastly, we would like to sincerely thank each of you for all the support you've given us through these projects.
Thank you, sir. Your
Thank you
time's
so
up.
much. Have a wonderful evening.
Oh, for clarification, Mr. Baez, are you a resident of the city of Paris?
No, I live close by.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
Jalister Corona.
Good evening. Let's see. Want to support the ordinance to ban the truck route. I want to say no to this truck route, no to Barnett Road, no to Ethenac Road. Menifee is just, they're not being good neighbors. These corporations, they're not going to pay for, all the problems that the trucks are going to bring. They're not going to pay for our mental state of waiting in line to go to work or take our kids to school. They're not going to pay for our gas bills, electric bills. They're not going to fix our roads after they're destroyed. They're not going to pay for our cancer treatment from all the dust particles from all these trucks. They're not going to pay for our insurance. They're not going to pay for our time. Menifee City Council, supposedly they say that we're unfair. They say that we didn't communicate with them. Lies, 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 right? It's all based on greed and money. And, the Menifee City Council, they're just bad neighbors. Again, they're bad neighbors. That's not the way that we would treat them. We wouldn't crap on their yard, and that's what they're doing to ours, right? So Menifee residents, they didn't even want their warehouses and these trucks in their city. So why are they sending this to our city, right? So I would say the only solution is for Menifee to find another truck route, right? Or just cancel the whole thing. Tens of thousands of people are affected in our neighborhood, right? Tens of thousands, right? This truck route, right, if allowed, and building these warehouses, yeah, it would provide a lot of jobs, but there's a lot more residents that would be affected in many negative ways. So just remember this, for every action, there's a reaction, right? So, let's just say they go along and they get away with this and they do get their way and get the truck route, right? And it messes up our neighborhood. And it's going to make us be bad neighbors to them. We don't want that. We want to stay positive, be good with them, right? You don't see us building this big homeless shelter right next to Menifee and bringing them from Hemet and Myrna Valley and Paris and Elsinore and dumping it right there in Menifee. We wouldn't do that. So they shouldn't be doing that to us, all right? So let's be good neighbors and let's treat each other with respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
That is all.
Anybody else in the audience at this time wishing to speak? IT, do we have, come on up, speak your name, please. Hold on, IT. Wait till you get to the microphone, please.
My name is Deborah Samus, and I received notification from the City of Paris on Thursday. I got a map that was, can't read the streets. I live on Ethenac and Marietta Road. I am 4 houses from the corner of that intersection. I am not happy with Menifee, and I'm not happy with the City of Paris as well. My husband and I came down to the Planning Commission and asked them for a proper map, which we were given. My suggestion is that the city of Paris and the City of Menifee come together for the citizens of Paris and for the citizens of Menifee. I do not want to lose my home. My home is right in the middle of that industrial complex. I've only been in my house for 19 months. I was not notified that there was an industrial project going on. I think both sides need to come together. When people start talking about this environmental impact, I knew when I bought that house, I knew that there was the Paris airport. I knew that the Metrolink station was there. I knew that the major highway, I knew the traffic was coming through there. I knew that. But I feel that you need to be fair on both sides. I'm really upset. I feel like I'm being pushed. I come to Menifee, I ask questions. They send me to Paris. I came to Paris. We went back and forth, I don't know how many times, to your planning department and been told, oh no, the meeting is tomorrow at 6:30. Well, that's your planning meeting. That was not the city council meeting. I don't feel that's fair. And another thing, even though I am on the Menifee side and I'm a Menifee resident, I do all my shopping. I spend all my money on the Paris side. I'm a good neighbor, and I would like to see it being fair on both sides. So please don't make a consideration until you sit down with the city of Menifee, and Menifee owes you the courtesy to do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes.
For clarification, the letter that you received was from the city of Paris?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, did you ever get a letter from the city of Menifee when they did the changes?
My understanding from the city of Menifee that this has been planned since 20 years ago. This major thoroughfare on Ethenac Road was proposed like 20 years ago, going all the way down to the 15 freeway. That was with the 6-lane corridor that everybody's talking about, from my understanding.
Okay.
And like I said, I just moved into my residence.
Okay. But the city of Menifee never gave you one a few months ago saying that they're going to
No,
make some
they
changes
did
about
not.
rezoning?
No, they
Okay.
did not
Thank
either.
you.
And that's another thing that I have addressed with them as well. And they know me down at the city. I'm not for, I don't know what I'm for at this point in time, but I just know that both sides are not being fair to each other. And as a resident, I walk 4 houses and I'm on the side of Paris. So I have friends who live in Paris. I have friends who live in Menifee. I want to see the good for everyone. The safety, we need to take in consideration. We need to trust each other. At this point in time, I don't trust anybody. And I know the big runaround that I just got from Paris since Thursday, because that's when I got my letter. I got my letter Thursday at 2:30. I was down here at 4.
Okay, ma'am, I need to move on with the other public
Yes,
speakers.
thank
Thank
you.
you for your comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any more?
No, that is all.
IT? Oh, hold on,
Yes.
IT, I got one more. I'm gonna take one more for this room, then I gotta go onto the internet.
I'll just make it brief.
Can you take your mask off, please, if you don't mind?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, my name's Sandra. I'm actually a Menifee resident, but I do a lot of shopping in Paris also. I just know also, I think something that needs to be addressed is the warehouses that are going up, like all over. Paris has several warehouses. I have some friends that used to live off Ramon Expressway, and they built warehouses right across the street from them, and they had to move because they're being confronted with what I think some of the residents in Paris are talking about right now. So it's not just an isolated, just Menifee. Paris has done the same to other people, and that's fact. I just know there's so much growth and development, and I know there's pros and cons for both, but I just really feel like the lady that said before me, there needs to be cities talking with each other, because this doesn't just affect Menifee and Paris, it also affects Lake Elsinore, affects Hemet. It's the thoroughfare that has been in the planning for a long time. And I lived through all the construction on Ethenac and the development, and things just don't move fast, I know sometimes. So I know it's going to be a headache for a lot of people when and if it happens. I know that there's commercial also it's not just the industrial, there's commercial that Menifee has. And so with the commercial, there's going to be businesses, there's going to be stores, there's going to be more businesses that are going to be able to service the community just across the street. And there's going to be no industrial. It's my understanding that whole front road on Ethenac is commercial. It's not going to be industrial. So the industrial is going to be behind it. Anyways, thank you for your time.
Thank you. IT?
Yes, sir. We have an Elizabeth Ayala. Elizabeth Ayala, your mic is unmuted.
I can't hear. Ms. Ayala, if you're on, you got 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Elizabeth Agella, and in regards to the Ethenac, it's not so much Ethenac. Honestly, it's Ramon Expressway, it's Nuevo, it's every exit that this city has that these trucks go through. Whether they're not supposed to or not, they go through them. If Menifee has a company opening up, they should get off of McCall out of their city instead of ours. You know, there's a lot of residents that are not getting notified, just like the CR&R, you know, today. Didn't get any notification in the mail that this was going to be on the agenda and placed on our property taxes. And I feel that you guys are more for the companies and the businesses that are coming, which is good for the city, but you're not really doing for the residents of Paris. We go first. Also, on a side note, on Facebook, the comments that people leave, is there anybody there to go over those comments and, write back to these people and with information so that they can follow up with them so that we know who we go to? Because for me, I'm going to be going to the city tomorrow to find out more information about everything that's happening today. If you guys could we voted you guys in there for your seats. We voted you there, not the businesses, not the people in Menifee. We did, City of Paris residents. And all I'm asking is for each and every single one of you guys is to put us first. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we have a Russell Pierce.
Hold on, IT.
Oh.
State your name, please.
Resident. I've lived here for 9 years now, and I was actually at your planning commission on June 1st as well, speaking about how we're opposing to this new truck route. And the main reason I gave then, and I'll give it to you now in case you didn't see me on there, was that, my family and I, my 2 boys and my daughter, we go ride bikes on Ethenac Road, and if we have these trucks pass by through there, we're not going to be able to enjoy that. We also not only just ride our bikes, but we walk our dog there too. My daughter just got a job at the Drop Zone Water Park, and I'm trying to teach her how to drive. Can you imagine teaching your teenage daughter, 15 years old, driving with these trucks there? No, I oppose to Menifee coming over here. I thank them for their time, for coming out here and, voicing their opinion. However, our opinions as the residents, as a property tax payer, my voice is more important than theirs. So I really do hope that you guys consider all of us that are with the staff report, which is to get this ordinance going, making sure that, we think of us, of the residents, especially in the southern end, us that live there that partake in this in every day. So that's about it. I had other things I want to speak out because I'm just a little annoyed with Menifee and talking about how they're friendly with us. Where were they when we were building and expanding our Ethenac Road? Where? Were they there to pay for it? Because from my knowledge is that they only own one road there. Of the four lanes there, they only own one lane there. So why don't they own both of them? Did they not partake? Did they not pay? Did they not contribute and be friendly with us? So that's all I'm going to say, and so thank you very much.
Thank you. IT, did you have any more?
Yes, sir, quite a few. We have a Mr. Russell Pierce. Mr. Pierce, your mic is unmuted.
Russell Pierce, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor Vargas, council members, staff. We appreciate your consideration for this this proposed removal of Ethenac Road. And I don't want to speak here in direct opposition of the removal of Ethenac Road. I realize that there's a lot to consider here, but what I do want to address is the process itself. And I don't consider myself a CEQA expert above the expertise of Michael Brown or Eric Dunn, but I do know quite a bit about it. And the one thing that I do know is that to propose this as a negative declaration seems in direct conflict to the whole spirit of CEQA. CEQA does not stop at city lines. CEQA crosses those city lines just like air does. And so to consider this kind of unilaterally is what it appears, I think is a little bit unfair. And I don't know the history that's gone on between the two cities. I don't really care. I don't really have an axe to grind with either city. And to the contrary, I have done a lot of business in the city of Paris, hope to continue that as well as in the city of Menifee. So I do want and would like to see the city continue this until such time as the two cities can come together in a cooperative way to justly come up with a fair solution to eliminate a segment that is vital to that whole region, not talking about city lines, without having a replacement solution to that seems awfully unjust and very unilateral. And to that, I respectfully request that this be continued until a date such that that all things can kind of come together cooperatively. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Adrian Jaquez, you're next on line. Are you on? Adrian, you have 3 minutes.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I've lived in the city in the Monument Ranch area for about 10 years with my wife and kids. We moved in from Fontana, which had a tremendous amount of truck traffic. I don't need to get a study from anybody to know that from just the smell and just your eyes watering and just from the coughing and the asthma, that it does provide a lot of pollution in the area. So I don't need a study for that. The other thing too is all the traffic it's going to be, having in the area. I'm not looking forward to that. I already lived through that. I don't want to see it again. That's the reason why I came over here to this city, to this part of the city actually. And I just find it insulting that the city of Menifee comes with their constituents, I mean, everybody from their side, and comes and insults us in our chambers. I don't like that. I don't think that's fair to us. So I believe that we should not have this street as a truck route. And I think we should extend it all the way to the 215 and not even be a good neighbor and give them Barnett. Just go all the way to the 215. And, I don't want to pay for the infrastructure to rebuild the bridge just so Menifee's trucks could go on that and use that bridge. I hope that's not the case. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mark Hayden, you on? Mark, you got 3 minutes.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members. Appreciate being here and hearing the testimony. I am an interested party representing an owner and developer of a piece of land that's in the city of Menifee, Northern Gateway EDC. We certainly have obvious concerns with the removal of Ethenac from a truck route. Certainly understand Paris's concerns as well, and as a property developer would look forward via process to be able to deal and talk about those concerns. They were well outlined within a letter that was received from the comments to the notification that we had sent out. Did talk about an alternate route, which is an interesting option. However, the route that was proposed incorporating Barnett is really not viable due to Barnett's proximity to the 215. Certainly think that with two interested parties that can discuss these options and possible solutions that can benefit both agencies is very, very doable. It's unfortunate that if it does pass tonight, that it appears that the door would end up closing, and that would just tend to lead to conflict for both cities. Paris can vote on this at any time in the near future. We do have time to be able to deal with it if you so choose. Certainly underscore the individuals that have reached out and said that the cities can sit down and talk about what those options and solutions may be. At some point, this area is going to be developed, and this is a great opportunity for everybody to be able to talk that through and figure out how that can be accomplished without negatively impacting both cities. So I would underscore the request to continue this to a date certain. It doesn't have to be open-ended, to give the cities, the agencies, and the stakeholders an opportunity to be able to talk about what those possible options would be in alternate routes and using part or partial of Ethenac, and to be able to avoid potential conflict. Thank you.
Thank you. Yvette Macias, are you on?
Hi, yes, I was just unmuted. I'm calling on behalf of my fellow Paris residents, and just to echo some of their concerns. I'm in total agreement with the Planning Commission's support of this, and also the staff report, and really just hope this council adopts a resident first approach, seeing as you are our council and you're supposed to be accountable to citizens first. I just find it kind of funny that a lot of these developers and kind of legal counsel and whoever else came out from Menifee painted a pretty picture, but none of them really took the opportunity or really said anything about how it would affect residents on both sides, Menifee and Paris. So if you move forward with this in any way or form, I just really recommend that you do your outreach in a very thorough way, because residents they're very concerned. So that's just my 2 cents on this, and I hope to see a unanimous vote in support of prohibiting this truck route. Thank you.
Thank you. John Shardlow, still on? You have 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Apologize for the quick technical difficulty. No problem. Honorable Mayor, council members, thank you so much for your time this evening. I'm John Shardlow. I'm also with NAOP IE. Wanted to piggyback on a few comments that Bill Blankenship made, but there's a few comments quickly that I want to address. One was a comment about whether there was some notification of a rezone and whether residents had that in Menifee. There was no rezoning activity in Menifee. I think that's part of the problem, is there's some misinterpretation and misinformation out there on both sides, both cities. And I think that's why we've been pushing so hard to have kind of a slow down and a sit down approach to discuss a solution. The solution that's being offered today, in my view, will probably worsen lots of things. One of them, the relationship with your partner and your adjoining city. But more importantly, cutting off access, or attempting to cut off access at Barnett and Ethenac, would put 100% of trips coming from the 215 on Ethenac trying to make a left onto Barnett. Barnett's pretty close to the 215, as everyone's aware. That's going to cause quite a bit of backup, quite a bit of congestion for all folks, residents of Paris and Menifee. And then, I think the city has acknowledged, the city of Paris has acknowledged that trucks can still use Ethenac in the number 2 lane heading eastbound. And what you'll have is you'll just have all of those trips occurring off the frontage of Ethenac, as opposed to a more measured, negotiated approach, potentially. And of course, if the talks don't work into alternative resolutions and win-win, then the city can come back and continue with their proposal. But I think it's time to invoke a little bit of leadership here and have the stakeholders all sit down and just have a good faith attempt. And that's all we're asking for here. So I appreciate that consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close public comment. the public hearing, I should say. And I'm going to open up the floor for discussion with the council. Seeing nobody in the queue, does someone want to make a motion?
No.
Okay. Councilwoman Rogers?
I had the opportunity, because this is such an important item, to watch the Planning Commission meeting. And I just want to commend our planning commissioners on doing a great job vetting this item. They asked complete and very thorough questions, a lot of questions that I probably would have asked myself. As a long-term council member here, I was on the council when we asked Menifee to participate both financially and to donate right-of-way for the Ethenac improvements some years ago. Unfortunately, Menifee decided not to do either, so that's why 4 of the 4 lanes, 3 lanes and the median are in the Paris jurisdiction, and only 1 lane is in Menifee's jurisdiction. Therefore, that means in that section of Ethenac, Paris is responsible for the upkeep and the maintenance of the majority of Ethenac. So Menifee had the opportunity to come on board and to help make Ethenac a more thorough road, and they chose not to. And that's a decision that we accepted, and we went ahead and did what we needed to do to improve that corridor for our residents. And just like our colleagues on the Menifee Council have listened to their residents regarding the location of industrial projects, we on this Paris Council must listen to our residents regarding their concerns regarding truck traffic and safety concerns, because we were hired by the residents of this city, this wonderful city of Paris. I want to thank all of the residents that came out and spoke, both at the Planning Commission, that sent emails and also called, and spoke tonight in favor of eliminating the truck traffic. Regarding the letters of opposition, I personally found many of the opposition letters harsh and threatening, and I am old school, and that just doesn't work with me. So now it's time for us to really weigh this out and make the decision that's in the best interests of the residents of the city of Paris, because that's who we work for. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
So, Mayor, I'm not sure if we had time to questioning, but I'm going to go ahead and bring up some questions. Okay, it's going to be a lot. Okay. All right. So I do have a few questions, well, a lot of questions for Mr. Fung or McKibben or Nathan or whoever wants to answer it. But with regarding this issue, how many letters did we receive total?
In support, I believe there's 32 letters in support.
32 letters of support. And how many in opposition?
There was, I believe, Nathan, you have to help me here. I believe there was 6 or 7 letters, but some of them were just follow-up letter from the Planning Commission from Route 10, which wrote like 3 letters. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, for the 32 opposition, how many of those lived in the city of Paris?
None of them live in Paris.
No, I'm sorry. For the opposition. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so none of the opposition lived in Paris. How about the letters of support?
They were all Paris residents.
All Paris residents. Every single one. Okay. Okay. During the Planning Commission, I wonder if you ever seen an item that's received so much participation?
No, this is the first time we have overwhelming support from Paris residents.
Okay. For a truck zone change, for a truck route.
Correct.
Okay. Kind of seems like a lot of residents care about this item then. So for reading the letters in opposition specifically, I know one of the letters were from the city of Menifee. How did Menifee know that we were going to make changes to our truck routes?
We sent them a notice before the planning commission, and we sent them again before the council.
Okay. So we did let them know.
Correct.
Okay. And then when Menifee had their discussions to the planning commission and city council over there, and they were discussing about whether to redesignate certain areas for warehouses and not, I don't think we sent anybody from our city. How come we didn't send anybody from our city?
We didn't get a notice, so we were not aware they had a special meeting.
So they never sent us a letter?
Not that we were aware of.
But regarding this one, we sent them a letter?
Correct.
Okay. And then we also sent their neighbors within the immediate vicinity?
We did.
Did they ever send us a letter to our neighbors, to our residents?
No.
Okay. With regards to the proposed project in Menifee and the truck traffic that would potentially be there, which residential communities would be affected? Like any neighborhoods that would be affected by that in the city of Menifee?
With their proposal, it wouldn't impact their residents.
It would not?
Based on what we understand where the truck would be headed.
It would or would not?
It would not.
It would not. So they're not going to affect their residents?
Not our understanding of it, but no study has been prepared for us to further analyze.
Okay, so Menifee doesn't even have a plan. Like this is just kind of ideas. I mean, I know they have it designated as an economic corridor, but is there any entitled plans for these projects?
There is no entitlements. The only one that went to official public notice is one project for 700,000 square feet.
Okay, on the Menifee side.
Correct. Just to say that there was start in an EIR document.
Okay. Now it is clear that the city limits end at that most southern lane on Ethenac. How far is that lane? Do we know from that lane to our residents in Green Valley?
I'm going to let Stuart answer that question.
Okay. Sorry for putting you on the spot, Stuart.
I think it's about 170 or 200 feet.
Okay.
That I could measure.
So well in distance of being able to hear heavy truck traffic and.
I think it's fair to say you could
Fair
hear
to say.
them.
Okay. Okay. So if we could kind of go back a little bit to Ethenac, because it seems like there's some confusion on whether we anticipated or we're trying to stop it from the original plans. When Ethenac was widened, was that intended for high volume truck traffic?
No, sir. It was just for 4 lanes.
Okay. So it was widened. It's been there for how long? How many years?
The 4 lanes, I think it was constructed in 2016 or
About that.
2017.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Okay. And so Menifee knew what the Ethenac widening looked like back then. I mean, for the last 5 years or so?
It's looked like this for about the last 5 years.
It's been there, yeah. Okay. And then with the medians that are there, were those designed for high volume truck traffic?
No, I don't think it would even physically work. I think the medians are too close together for one, and also the turn lanes to turn left off of Ethenac to go south are probably too short to have any truck queuing.
So when we designed those medians, they never voiced their opinion during that time, knowing that the trucks weren't meant for a left turn?
I was not there to know what Menifee said, but former city engineer is here, and he could probably answer that question.
Okay.
Do you want that answered?
Well, I know you were on the planning department at the time. Did they ever voice their opinion?
At that time, that was, and we do have Habib Matla, he's our special project manager, also available. At that time, no, as a matter of fact, Menifee did partake in the review of our median designs, in which we needed to get their approval, which they did review. We also have, like I mentioned, Habib Matla, who was involved directly with the city engineer's office in Menifee.
So Menifee were okay at that time with the medians, the way they were at right now?
That's my understanding, yes.
Yeah, you're right. And the Menifee pay for those?
This was under the TUMF program, but no.
Okay. All right. And then, if Menifee was in the plans of immediately putting, this high volume area, how come they didn't put another lane or 3 or 4 lanes on their side? Is there, do they have plans for that?
I'm not aware, I'm not.
At that
I-
time? At that time, they never had
No,
any
that
plans?
was never discussed at the time.
Did we ask them to participate in the widening?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and did they do, were they able to do that?
They did not.
They didn't. So our side has all the, which is why our side has the sidewalks. And in fact, Green Valley, they actually sacrificed a lot of land for the improvements on that side.
Yes, they did give quite a bit amount of right-of-way for
Okay.
the widening on the north side of Ethenac.
Okay. All right. And then when it comes to infrastructure, which is why we don't really see any flooding the way we used to, is that part of the reason why? Because on the city's Paris side, there's very little flooding.
Well, that's correct. Flood control constructed the channel, I think, and also in 2016, 2017 as well.
But on the side of Menifee, that's why you still see a little bit of.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of ponding on the Menifee
Yeah,
side. There's no flood control facilities over there.
Yeah. I'm well aware of it because I have Paris residents complaining to me about Menifee, about the Menifee side being having their issues over there, which I also always have to remind them. So I want to talk about specifically because some people did bring up concerns about it, and I'm just thinking about the safety aspects of it. But I know as actually Mr. One of the speakers from NAIOP, I'm having issues with but they mentioned that there's going to be some issues with trucks making a right, getting off the freeway, and there's going to be a lot of backup, right? Because there's not a lot of space. Now I'm anticipating even if they were to keep on going straight, there will still be some backup, and I do have a couple questions. Why? I wonder what is the distance from a truck that were to get off the 215 freeway going southbound, making a right turn on Ethenac. What is the distance from that to Barnett?
It's about 800 feet.
800 feet, okay. I know there's that little weird section. I know there were some issues from decades, from almost 100 years ago past, but there's an issue between Getz Road and Barnett. What is that distance for the turnout lane?
Okay, so first, Barnett was dedicated back in 1927 in that alignment. Getz Road, I believe that happened when the state bought the right-of-way for 215 back in 1965, and then they came in and built the 215 and the Getz Road alignment. So they're kind of stuck the way they are because that's how they're done. Then between Barnett and Getz, if you're going westbound, there's a little left-hand turn to get onto Barnett. That's just about 55 feet long. That little left-hand turn between
55 feet long. Yeah. I'm well aware of it because sometimes I try to see two trucks trying to make that left turn, and they're blocking traffic and stuff like that.
So it's easy to say that if trucks were to come to this intersection, there would have to be a study done, how many trucks there are, and then a new configuration probably of the intersection and maybe the interchange, who knows, to accommodate all that. And at this point, no one's done that work.
So a study would have to come for that?
Yes, absolutely a study.
Okay.
The traffic engineers, I don't know what the total volume is proposed right now for trucks. Don't know.
Okay. So but that turnout lane is what, 55? Did you say 55 feet?
That's correct.
Okay. How long is the average normal 18-wheeler?
Well, 65 feet is the max.
65. So we could expect that there's going to be some overhang, even just one truck.
Yeah, the back end of the truck would be out into the intersection.
Which I've
for
seen it
Getz
multiple
Road.
times, but yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I think that's all the questions I have right now. If you want to, somebody else wants to go.
Sure you weren't a lawyer sometime in your life?
He was leading me.
All right.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Nava.
Thank you, Mayor. I mean, how do I follow that up? Thank
Right.
you to our Councilmember Corona for asking all the wonderful and amazing questions. And I also want to go ahead and thank all the speakers who have joined in tonight's meeting. And not only tonight, but during the Planning Commission meeting, I also followed this conversation well. I was able to watch the Planning Commission meeting, and it is very evident that there's overwhelming support for this item. And it's late into the evening, and we still have our residents eagerly awaiting for the results of what's happening during this item. So just to make a few comments regarding this item, because they've pretty much all been addressed at this point. But one thing that is truly concerning for me is that what was not okay for the city of Menifee residents to have to deal with, it's okay for our Paris residents. And I have a really hard time digesting that. And if we look into their good neighbor policy, which I will outline what was shared here in our staff report. Good neighbor policies to protect sensitive receptors, promote public health, and protect the neighborhood character of adjacent communities, which outlines that truck traffic shall generally be routed to impact the least number of sensitive receptors. However, the planned industrial developments on the south side of Ethenac Road within the city of Menifee do not adhere to their very own policies, which, again, how is it okay for our Paris residents to deal with the outcomes of their industrial development, but it's not okay for Menifee? And if staff could help fill in a little bit of background to as what the city of Menifee did, where they allocated all of their industrial development towards the border, our bordering side of Paris.
Yeah, so the economic development corridor is just everything south of Ethenac, east of Getz, west of Barnett, and north of McLaughlin. So all that area is potentially be developed as industrial or business park, but all that submitted to us has been large industrial projects. So that's what they've been proposing so far.
Thank you. And they eliminated these types of developments in other parts of their city, correct?
Yes, and we were aware, as Mr. Corona said, through a newspaper article, and that's how we were made aware. We didn't get any notice.
Yes, yes. And all, and it's very admirable, and I commend the city council for doing something to protect their very own residents, but now it is my opportunity to do that same type of work, and my duty, my responsibility to protect our Paris residents. So those are just some of the comments I have, and if the conversation continues, and I'll go ahead and chime in then. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Rabb, did you have? Yes, he does. Councilman Rabb?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Vargas. I'll have brief comments. I'd like to thank all the speakers for coming out and speaking tonight regarding this very important issue. I've had an opportunity to hear from both sides of the issue, the individuals in the NAOP and the individuals and the residents of the city of Paris. I've kept an open mind regarding this issue, but ultimately I'd have to side with the residents of the city of Paris.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being patient. We're ready to call to order our joint meeting of the City Council, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, Public Finance Authority, Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Paris Joint Powers Authority, and the Paris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris. This Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, at 6:32 p.m. Madam Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Sure. Councilmember Nava?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona?
Here.
Councilmember Rabb?
Here.
Councilmember Rogers?
Here.
Mayor Vargas?
Here. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any participants on Zoom from the open public, so we've been reading these instructions for quite some time now. I think we all got it, but if you are on Zoom, just feel free to put the raise button and our IT will acknowledge you and put you on a list to speak. Item 3 is our invocation, which will be led by one of my favorite pastors in our city, Mr. Pastor Joel Sabalik of New Creation Church. If you'd all please stand and join me and remain standing for item 4, which is our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilwoman Nava. Come to the podium, Pastor. We want.
Okay, great. All right. Let's have a word of prayer. Father, we thank you so much for your everlasting love, your